The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views or ideas of the staff or management of KWSH or the 110 Broadcast Group.
History. Good morning to you, and welcome to the Tuesday, October 20th edition of the Seminole Nation radio program. I am your host, Bo Whitekiller, coming to you live on Facebook and on all points of media within the Seminole County area, KWSH 1260, 97.7 on your FM dial. Here at the studios here in Seminole, Oklahoma. My chair broke on me, so I shrunk down about 3 inches here. So if you're looking at me live right now, I'm not your statuesque tribal citizen. I'm kind of a little shorty right now, but we'll work through it. Maybe that's something to tell me about all the good food I ate yesterday. So I'll take that as a hint. But this morning we got some information, some announcements to make, some information regarding the upcoming October 22nd distribution of the COVID-19 cards for the tribal citizens, children and students that will receive this technology assistance. So some clarification and some information, and that'll be coming from Kyle Coody. He'll be calling in about probably 10 minutes from now, 5-10 minutes from now. We'll get some straight answers from the Treasury Department. Again, this is regarding the COVID technology assistance program for students, and we'll have Kyle call in and answer your questions that was given to us. Currently, we have a couple of passing informations that I'd like to share with you. We have John Francis Pittensbarger, 85, of Allen, Oklahoma. Mr. Pittensbarger passed away Monday, October 5th, 2020 at an Oklahoma City hospice. He was born March 8th, 1935 at Snowmack, Oklahoma, to Byron Eugene and Leila Bell Robertson Pittensbarger. He married Linda D. McLennan on December 4th, 1971. She preceded him in death on June 18th, 2004 in Vernal, Utah. Mr. Pittensbarger was an oil field consultant until his retirement, and he served in the United States Army. Survivors include his children, Vicky Frunschate of Alaska, Wyatt Pittensbarger of Oklahoma, and Piper Harrell of Allen. Three brothers, Andrew Pittensbarger of League City, Texas, Daniel Pittensbarger, Arkansas, and Justin Pittensbarger, North Carolina. 10 grandchildren and 12 great-grandchildren. He was preceded in death by his parents, his wife, 2 sons, Marvin Eugene Pittensbarger and John Scott Pittensbarger, and 2 sisters, Patricia Ann Bancroft and Diana Audubon. It's a private service. Also, I'd like to announce a passing of Kevin Roderick Wright, Jr., age 33. He passed away Monday, October 12th, 2020 in Washington, D.C. He was born July 23rd, 1987 in Woke, Oklahoma, to Kevin Roderick Wright, Sr. and Ivora Lena. Kevin was a member of the Seminole Nation, which he was very proud of. His hobbies were traveling, Native American history, music, museum, and his passion for clothing. He went to school to be a bartender. Preceding Kevin in death is his grandmother, Mary Ann Tiger. Those left to cherish his memories are Father Kevin Wright, Sr. of Washington, D.C., Mother Ivora Lena of Shawnee, Oklahoma, siblings Kenneth Wright of Shawnee, Oklahoma, Rachel Wright of Shawnee, Oklahoma, Christoni Lena of Washington, D.C., one nephew, Jalon Mathis, and one niece, Amina Mathis, and a host of other relatives and friends. Honorary pallbearers will be Christoni Lena, Tawny Lena, Justin Lena, and Gary Lena. Pallbearers will be Kenneth Lena, Henson Lena, Brandon Hunter, Travis Hunter, Kenneth Wright, and Kevin Tiger. Graveside service will be 11 a.m. Thursday, October 22nd, 2020 at the Tiger Family Cemetery, Woke, Oklahoma, with Pastor Houston Tiger officiating. Arrangements by Stout Phillips Funeral Home. At this time, let's have a moment of silence for those passing and those lifting up those families. Mado. Some announcements we have here came across the news desk. In a post from today's edition of the Seminole Producer, current Assistant Chief Lewis Johnson announces his candidacy for the Chief of the Seminole Nation for the July 2021 election. Lewis Johnson is the son of the late Jiggs Johnson and Sue Ann Gilcrease Johnson. He is of the Bird Clan and Tallahassee Band. Johnson is not a newcomer or novice to Seminole tribal affairs, but has decades of experience and service to the citizens of the Seminole Nation. He was elected to 2 consecutive terms on the Seminole Nation General Council for the Tallahassee Band and served several years as band chief. Johnson was appointed to several boards and committees by 4 different principal chiefs of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, and comes from a family and a tradition of service to the Seminole Nation and its members. Assistant Chief Johnson stated, "A candidate with no formal experience in tribal affairs would be at a serious disadvantage when defending the sovereignty and treaty rights of the Seminole Nation, which is essential to preserving and protecting our government-to-government relationship with the United States and holding them to their trust responsibility to the Seminole Nation. We as Seminole people have a unique governmental structure in which our Constitution gives us the right to direct our destiny as individual tribal members. We still have the constitutional right to voice with power to hold our tribal officials accountable for the advancement of the Seminole people through continual program growth and services. We must hold the economic development entities of the nation to a high standard, for they are responsible to produce substantial revenues while maintaining business objectives and goals in job creation, which in return should contribute to in the area of services that our people rightfully deserve." Johnson said, "Nearly 30 years ago, certain elders would meet with my father, Charles Jiggs Johnson, and encourage me to become involved in tribal affairs. When so many of the Seminole members over the years continue to urge you to serve them in a leadership capacity, one must do what the people desire." An elder said to Johnson, "Chabon, be patient and wait your turn. You will be chief one day." Johnson says, "The time has come for me to make the announcement to run for chief. I urge all eligible members to vote in the July 2021 election." Frank Alexander from the Veterans Committee is wanting all Korean War veterans or families of Korean War veterans to contact him with service member information regarding an upcoming project in support of the new Veterans Center. A roll of honor will be compiled, and Mr. Alexander is wanting anyone with information about their service member or themselves involved in the Korean War contact him at the following number. Contact Frank at 405-380-7011. That's 405-380-7011. If you are a Korean War veteran or have a family member or a service member who was involved in the Korean War. Preceding wars after that will be also involved, and Frank did say that if you know of information of any World War II veterans that may have been slipped through the cracks as far as information, please contact him regarding such. So that's regarding the War Roll of Honor. The Seminole Nation Adult Education offers free GED classes at the location at 215 East Evans in Seminole, Monday through Thursday by appointment only. Please contact Clara D. at 405-716-6041 for more information. That's free GED classes at 405-716-6041. And happy anniversary to Kenneth and Faye Coody. Kenneth and Faye Coody, happy anniversary. Go out and get a good hamburger somewhere. All right. Well, it kind of rolls into some information that we got. Speaking of Coody, I think we've got on the line here Kyle Coody. Kyle, are you on the line?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
What's going on? How are you doing today?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, thanks for being on. I contacted Kyle. I was kind of wanting to talk about some of the information that's coming up regarding the October 22nd, just a minute. Regarding the October 22nd distribution of the COVID technology. How's that been going along? Can you kind of give us some insight, Kyle, on some of the processes leading up to the distribution day on October 22nd?
So, kind of the process that we've been going through is we've been receiving all these applications, just verifying them, making sure all the information is accurate, we have a team of people within our treasury and our accounting department that have been involved in the process. So it's kind of one of those things, because you have to find the time between your normal operational duties and then also putting time aside to try to get those processed. So it's been a task, but I mean, we're to the point now that we've completed all those, got all the cards ready to go, and we're just ready for distribution now.
Now, your staff there, I believe is a staff. You have yourself and then 2 others. Is that correct?
2 in my office,
yeah.
And then we have like four accounting girls that can participate, and they'll help as much as they can when they're available.
And just to kind of clarify, or just kind of reiterate what you just said, that's not only are you processing these, but also you get your day-to-day activities, which continue to. I know on my end, there's always this sense of trying to be time managed, not only in balance. So it seems to be kind of a I don't want to say it's a chore, but it's more of a prioritizing what needs to be done. And you guys have definitely done a good job to get it this far.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And I think the whole thought process, in going to this was to be as quick as possible.
Right.
But, reality is that we're just not able to process it in a day or two like we would like. But, we've worked, and we've had girls put in some extra hours, and it's been pretty tedious.
There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. I mean, it's just almost like watching a movie. You can see a big budget blockbuster movie, but in 2 hours, but you don't realize the time and effort and planning to get to that 2-hour release of that movie. So I think that's one of the things people don't see.
That's true. But our ultimate goal is to get these to the people, and that's what we want to do, and that's what we've been working on. So.
Absolutely. About how many applications did you receive or have received thus far up to the?
I would say thus far we've probably received approximately 2,500 applications that's been processed.
Okay. And they're continuously going to be processed until funds run out, or until November, I believe.
Yeah, until the deadline. So I mean, we're pretty certain that at least 80 to 85% of the people, or if not more, have sent in their applications. So this is kind of our way to get a lot of these out and let the people have the opportunity to come pick these cards up, firsthand. And just, there's been a lot of issues with the mail as far as emergency financial assistance that we did. We get a lot of return checks through the bad address and whatnot. And so we kind of looked at this as an avenue to directly give back to the tribal members in a way that they can feel certain that they're getting what they was wanting.
Right. With the continuously processing of these cards, how did you guys decide on cards over checks, and what was that? What was the pros and cons of that?
Looked at doing a check. We looked at the basically the availability of supplies, as far as like having checks available, having mail, the envelopes available, and we knew that last with the financial assistance, that was kind of a lot that we had to go through.
Yeah.
So we kind of looked at another option. The other option was kind of to follow the judgment fund and how they process their not gift cards, but their cards.
Oh, okay. There.
For the tribal clothing. So we thought that was a good avenue. So we chose that, since we kind of, it was for the youth, for school, for whatever,
right,
to get the technology. So we thought it was a good plan, so we went with it.
And with this being a first experience, looking back, what kind of friction points did you not anticipate that came about?
There's actually quite a few, but
we'll take one or two.
Yeah,
I think just to kind of paint a picture of where you were at.
If to be honest, I mean, if we do something like this and we move forward and we want to create something where we're actually giving back again to the people in some type of form of assistance, I would have a designated program. I would have people just solely dedicated to that program that could process those things, those items, quickly and as efficiently as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that was our downfall through this whole thing, because not only did COVID hit, and we're trying to take on a big task, we're also limited in our capacity as far as trying to get all this stuff done.
Right. All right. Well, I think, again, the job, it's one of those thankless jobs, but we'll take it on the record right now and say thank you guys for what you're doing. And I do have a series of questions here that I wanted to kind of touch on and kind of let you go, because I know everybody's busy today a little bit, but these kind of come from some of our listeners and some of the things that come across through our social media sites. So those of you out there listening and social media, we do take time again, to sit down and answer. Sometimes it's 100 messages a day. Sometimes it's 2 messages a day. So we're not leaving you out there. But these questions come from a couple of listeners, and one of them was, how do I know if I need to be there on October 22nd, and how do I avoid a wasted trip?
Well, that's complicated in a way that if we could verify, but we also don't want to open that door to have everybody calling and say, oh, well, do I need to be there? Do I need to be there? I think, it's 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
You submitted your application. We're certain that it's been processed. So, as long as you submitted that application prior to October 20th, which is today, you submitted it prior to today, then yeah, you could be there. And if you aren't there, then it's just get mailed.
Okay, that kind of just goes into my next question. I live 2 hours away and can't get off work. What do I need to do?
Well, after this distribution, we'll mail all the checks out all the gift cards out that we have left over.
So to kind of clarify, after about 7 p.m. and the door, time's shut and everybody gets ready to end for the day, you'll take those that are remaining and just mail them out?
Yes.
All right. What if a tribal member doesn't have tribal ID or a driver's license to pick up cards?
Do you mean, yeah. Well, are you talking about the tribal enrollment card?
Yes. They may have it on file. I think it's one of the side notes I'm saying. So, but I'm sure we have it on file. You guys should already have it.
But just for security purposes, that way we're not handing, a non-legal guardian the card. We would like to just have some form of verification. Right.
And I think that was one of the responses that I was pushing on social media today, that due to the fact these are controlled items, these cards, and in order for them to be handed over and mitigate the risk, that's why the request for proper ID was administered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I only have copies of my children's tribal cards and copies of my state ID. Will this work for pickup? I guess paper copies.
That's a tough question as well, because it's one of those that we would have to kind of look at and see. If it goes along with the person picking up the actual app or card,
right,
then I think that would be fine. It would suffice. But it's one of those things that we look at it and we know there's means, there's ways you can go to the tribal enrollment office and get a verification,
mm-hmm,
as far as like a form or whatever of your children, and
right,
bring that. But
And that's, that's one thing I'll kind of caveat to this point, with the tribal enrollment office being closed during this COVID-19 pandemic, and once we do this slow reopening, I think I would highly encourage any tribal members out there not to have, a bum rush toward tribal enrollment, but make sure that these cards are updated, especially going forward in the light of the recent decisions.
Here's another thing. So, I mean, if we're not here to say you can't pick it up, because we want to give it to you. That's our ultimate goal, is just to give it to you. So, absolutely. I mean, if you have other forms of ID that we can verify that child in a way that we can verify it, officially, then we'll use it that way.
Right.
If you don't have the tribal enrollment, then you only have a copy. Maybe if you got another form of the kid's ID, like a Social Security card or something that we can.
And it's really not making it harder on anybody. I mean, we totally understand that there's some of our members will not have the on-hand ID, but it's just more or less a mitigate risk, a protection for use, fraudulent use. Not saying it would be, but it's just one of those things that are called accountability, basically.
Yeah, it's just more of a control for us to verify that we're giving it to the correct person.
Right. And can I get relatives to pick up for me if I can't make it?
Yes. Just be have some form of consent, as far as like having that person consent to you picking those up, and then, if you bring that with you, then you can have that.
Okay.
To attach to the application.
Okay. And one last one I got from is actually probably two. Also, someone posed the question: Will these be tax exempt like the clothing cards, or do you have to have a copy of the rules that were approved for this distribution? So we're going along the lines with Judgment Fund here. So when you notice when we give the cards, they'll have that same exact template that they use to give out their card. It's got all the same information, so if you go to Walmart or whatever, it has the tax exempt number. Mm-hmm. It also has the tribe's tax exempt ID. So I'll say you'll be tax exempt up to the point that if a vendor or a business doesn't want to accept it, then that's a different story. Okay. And let me see. For the most part, it'll be tax exempt. Okay. We expect it to be tax exempt. Okay. And if listeners out there, if you have any situations, just contact us at the communications office, and that way we can kind of compile a list of information of vendors that possibly not accepting or anything like that. I'll stick my neck out there and say, let's help you to help. We're here to help you to get through this process, and whatever we can do to help, we'll definitely try to get that information pushed out to everybody. Other than that, Kyle, do you have anything in to kind of sum up? The time is yours. Well, and you got anything you want to talk about? For anybody that's listening, if you are listening, just know that we're doing our best. That we're wanting you to have these cards, and we understand the kind of. We kind of missed the mark a little bit, so just know that the people are working as hard as they can to get these to you. I mean, that's all I have to say. And Kyle, you and your crew are honorable. I mean, what you guys are doing, how you guys are, putting your time out there. Again, it's one of those things, thankless jobs. You don't see it, and especially when it deals with Toknawa. You're just trying to do the best we can, yeah, I appreciate you guys, and tell your staff and crew back there, Mado, and I know you got all that money hoarded up somewhere so you could buy you a Cadillac. So, hey, I joke. Come on. All right. Well, appreciate you, Kyle. That's Kyle Coody, our treasurer for the Seminole Nation, and we'll talk to you later, Kyle. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Hey. All right. Hey, that's some good information out there. And, of course, I'm sure we're going to probably have some more questions from you out there in listener land. Just send your information to SeminoleMedia@gmail.com, SeminoleMedia@gmail.com, or You can call us at the office and leave a message at 405-382-1010, 405-382-1010, or once again, utilize that Facebook messages. We're trying to get as much questions answered as possible, and hopefully Kyle answered some of those questions there. I'm sure we'll anticipate some kind of friction points along the way, but you know what? Let's offer hope. Let's offer solutions, not, calling out problems. Let's offer some solutions. That's one of the things I've learned in the military. So if you got a problem, come, when you want to talk about a problem, come with a solution. Come with a solution. Think in the big picture of all these things. And I think once we get past that point and start learning that as a good tool in our tool bag, we'll see a lot of progress. I think we already are. We're seeing some of the good things happening within Seminole Nation that doesn't get published maybe too much. We try to do that a lot on our communications effort. And I do want to put a shout out to Jake Tiger and Delaney and Jeremy, and also Mark for their involvement, along with the Historic Preservation Office and their involvement of an upcoming documentary. One of the things we're looking at in the Communications Department is continuing to draw that narrative of who we are as modern day and tribal citizens, and as well as our past and how the culture has influenced us today. So one of those things is a documentary that we're researching and putting together regarding the Trail of Tears from the Seminole narrative, from the Seminole standpoint. So be looking forward to that in the future. And we'll have Jake and his crew come on and talk about what they've been doing. But other than that, hunt the good stuff. That's what we always say. Hunt the good stuff. There's a lot of bad stuff out there, a lot of negativity, but love your tribe, because there are people out there doing great and wonderful things of it. Let's not become an entitled person. Let's become one that's humble and a servant, and I think we'll see some good things. That's just my 2 cents. I got to go. My kids are going to be mad at me because I'm got a green hat on and a red shirt, but I'm dad, and that's what dads do. So color coordinated Bo Whitekiller talking to you from the KWSH studios. We're out today. We'll see you next week. Be good, be kind to one another, and keep hope alive. Get out and ready to vote. Hadam Chief Hafiz. Maro.